say it's the dream, but the silence feels louder than it seems. Applications sent like ships in the dark. No replies, no spark, no start. You think it's a paper, just words on a page, but it's a system to break out the cage. Get higher fast, it's more than your past. You're the go-to pro, let the world know. Get higher fast, leave the doubt in the past. Worried they're looking at the years you wear, like time erased what you bring to the chair. But it's not about age, it's the way you play. Pushing yourself, lead the way, the way. Connect to the ones who make the calls, shake the fear, break the walls. Get higher fast, it's more than your past. You're the go-to pro, let the world know. Get higher fast, leave the doubt in the past. Worried they're looking at the years you wear, like time erased what you bring to the chair. But it's not about age, it's the way you play. Pushing yourself, lead the way, the way. Connect to the ones who make the calls, shake the fear, break the walls. Get higher fast, it's more than your past. You're the go-to pro, let the world know. Get higher fast, leave the doubt in the past. Get higher fast, it's more than your past. You're the go-to pro, let the world know. Get higher fast.
You scroll through hundreds of job descriptions, but they all sound the same. You spend so much time on every application, but it doesn't seem to matter. You send off application after application, but never hear back. You thought the interview went so well, but it's a no. You jump through all the hoops. The news keeps saying how there are all these employers that are struggling to find people to hire. So why does finding a great job have to be so hard? It doesn't seem very logical or fair. It's not. The system is broken. It's not your fault. The process most people go through to get a job is awful. But here's the good news. The system isn't very smart. In fact, it's downright dumb. It can be beaten. How? Most prospective employers and employees today are using the same old tired strategies that have been around forever. It's like professional camouflage. Everybody just blends into the crowd. But you don't have to be that way anymore. You can get traction. You can stand out from the crowd to unleash your God-given potential, to help a world in need, to do work that matters, to earn what you and your family deserve. You can do this. You're meant to do this. There are bright things on the horizon for you. This is the way. Welcome to the workshop. Get hired fast without settling, getting ignored, or losing hope, so you can do work that matters, my friends, and earn what you and your family deserve. My name is Eric Woodard. I'm a high-performance career and leadership coach based out of Washington, D.C. And if you are here on this Tuesday, just want to acknowledge you for being here. Know how valuable your time is. There's probably lots of things you could be doing at noon Eastern on a Tuesday in February, and you are here. So if you are here, you're so smart for being here. Thanks for being here. And if you're watching the replay, you are also very cool. Not quite as cool as the people who are here live, but also fairly cool. And if you are here live, I want to hear from you. If you would, put it in the chat where you're from. So two things, where you're from and how long you've been on the job search. Because I want to know, my friends, because look, sometimes being on a long job search can feel a lot like pounding sand. I see you there, Ann. I see you. Tired of the BS. That's right. Hi there, Christian. That's right. Hey there, Dora in Texas. 5 months for you. Sometimes it can feel like waiting on a glacier, Alyssa and Alicia in Charlotte and Valerie in Florida. Hey there, Ann in Sugar Hill, Georgia. Hi, Shelly. Hi, John Hansen in Nashville. Hi, Scott in Bentontown and Jesse in Minneapolis. Right. I see you there. Suzanne in Tampa and Angela in Colorado, Matt in Orlando. Sometimes it can feel like wandering through a desert, Kristen in Beantown. Right. I see you there. Ashley in Seattle. Hi there, Andrew in Orlando and Angie in Wisconsin. Hey there, Trevor in Spokane. Hi there, Edward in New York, Christian, St. Pete. Hey there, Andrew. Fred, 800 resumes in 12 months. That's a lot. Keith right here in DC. Nice job. Nice job, Keith. Sometimes it can feel like going into an arena or looking into an abyss. So look, my friends, if you are unsure about the direction you want your career to go, if you've been struggling to find ways to describe what you do, if you're uncertain if your resume is any good, if you've been wrestling with how to follow up after applying, if you're tired of applying and hearing nothing back, if you go into interviews and you seem to do great and then you get a big fat no, if you're trapped in a job that you don't like and you're just not sure how you can escape. And most of all, my friends, if you're losing hope, this is a workshop for you. On the other hand, if you're somebody who's just kind of super casual about your career, not really willing to do much work, reluctant to take responsibility for the results you've been getting, really just interested in trying to get a job to make money, sort of stuck in your ways, closed-minded, and you know all the reasons your job search hasn't been giving you the results you want, unwilling to be authentic, this may not be the workshop for you. So what we're going to learn today, how to get hired fast without settling, getting ignored, or losing hope. I'm going to offer you 4 strategies and 9 tactics that you can put to work right away, and so that you can do work that matters and pays what you and your family deserves. How does that sound to you, Aaron in Salt Lake City? Sounds good to me. So our agenda for today, first of all, some of you have joined this workshop. I know because you already wrote me ahead. You've known somebody, friends or family that's gone through our program and got hired blindingly fast. And you already know about me. And some of you are like, who the hell is this guy? I got a weird message on LinkedIn. I don't know who this guy is. I'm going to tell you just like a little bit about where I'm coming from to give you a little context. But we're not going to spend much time on that because we're going to mainly focus on 4 strategies and 9 tactics that you can use to get hired fast. And especially for those of you who have joined, and I know we have quite a few of those today, because you're interested in finding out more about our program, you're interested in signing up. If that's you, and Jessa, who's here helping us today, Jessa and Chris, thanks, Jessa. I want to invite you to come schedule a free coaching conversation with me and my team. And we'll take a look at what's going on with your job search, and whether or not we think our program can help you. And if we think it can, we'll tell you. And if not, we'll tell you that too. The way to do that is to fill out the link that Jessa just put in the chat. The only requirements for that are 1, folks, do not book a call and no show. Professionals, when they schedule things, they keep the appointments they schedule and they take a stand for themselves. So if you think there's a chance you're going to schedule and cancel, don't do that. Right. Like, and if you're that kind of person, we probably can't help you on your job search anyway. So don't book a call and then cancel. You're at least open to the idea of investing in yourself, right? You want people to pay you money, be willing to spend a little money on yourself, and you're ready to get started right now. So if that's you, book a call with us and let's unpack what's going on with you. And that's the form to book a call. Looks just like that. And that's the link. All right, guys. And then, I will have time for Q&A today. I've got a little bit of time for Q&A, so we'll do that. All right, my friends, here we go. Who is this guy and why does he think he can help me find a job? Well, I have no idea if I can help you find a job, and I've helped a ton of people find jobs. I grew up in Asia. I didn't come to the States till I was about 18. Wound up as like, hey, Aaron, that's great, man. Wound up transferring college like 7 times, right? Was sort of like wandering, like didn't have a lot of professional direction. Here I am in the Midwest wondering why it's so damn cold. Wound up as a scuba instructor on the island of Guam. That was pretty cool. I spent about 10,000 hours underwater, right? And in my early 20s, I was like, well, I got to pull it together. So I thought, well, what would be the most prestigious job I could have? And I thought, well, that must be something like the White House. So I took out a piece of notebook paper and hand wrote a cover letter and said, "Dear Mr. President, you should hire me." Now, this was many years ago, but I put that in an envelope and I mailed that sucker off. And I sort of laughed to myself. I'm like, well, that was an interesting use of a Tuesday afternoon. That's right, John. It was Patty. I'm a Patty master instructor. Well, I'm an IDC staff instructor, not quite master, but yes, it was Patty. So, but I mailed that letter off, and I'm like, I'm never hearing back from those guys. So I went diving, right? I went more diving. And about a month later, I was going past the Guam post office, and the guy came out and he's like, Eric, you got a letter from the White House. And it was this cool White House envelope. I'd never seen anything like that. I opened it up, and it was an internship application. Now, I didn't know what the hell an internship was, but I was really good at filling out applications because I transferred college so many times. So I filled that sucker out, mailed that. I'm like, I'm never hearing back on that thing. But at least I had the cool envelope. I thought that was pretty cool. And that got me thinking. I applied to some grad schools, and I got into GW here in Washington, D.C., sort of landed with this big bushy haircut, right? Was dumpster diving for furniture, bought a pair of running shoes, was out running past the White House one day. And I thought, those White House bastards, they never even bothered to let me know about that internship thing. What is up with that? So I put a quarter in a payphone. I called them up. I said, hey, you White House bastards. I said, what about that internship thing? That's right. G-dubs, Alicia. That's right. And they said, is this Eric from Guam? And I said, yeah, it's Eric from Guam, but I'm in DC now. They're like, man, we've been trying to get in touch with you. You start in the First Lady's office on Monday. And I'm like, well, that's interesting. So I got a haircut, bought a suit, and I showed up. Now, my friends, I know we got a lot of political craziness in our country right now. I have no idea if my politics match yours. This is going to tell you how old I am. This is back during the Clinton administration. I went to work for Hillary Rodham Clinton. She was a great boss. And I quickly got hired onto her staff, right? In the White House, was with her for a lot of the Clinton administration, eventually followed her to the U.S. Senate, where we did a bunch of cool stuff for the great state of New York, followed her to the U.S. State Department, where I helped represent the United States in front of UNESCO. And then eventually I left all that and I moved to the Smithsonian on my own, where I became director of fellowships and internships, where I helped people at all different levels of their career, all different industries. I mean, think how much the Smithsonian represents, and all different places figure out career stuff. But eventually about 6 years ago, I branched out on my own, started a coaching practice, give a lot of coaching, do a lot of talks, written a lot of books, have an outrageous number of very impressive pieces of paper, have glowing testimonials, and you don't care about any of that. Because what you care about is, can I help you? I don't know, probably, maybe. Only helped about a bazillion people get hired. Let's see what we can do for you. All right, guys, so here we go. 4 strategies that you can use right now to kick your job search into high gear. Here we go. So here's my first question for you. What's a good resume about? Put it in the chat if you would, please. Let's see if anybody gets this right. What's a good resume about? Hey, that's great, Jesse. I appreciate that. Right? What's a good resume about? Let's see if anybody gets this one right. What's a good resume about? Who's going to get the right answer today, if anybody? Put it in the chat if you would, please. Let's see what people have to say. There's usually a little bit of a delay. Okay. So Andrew says it's getting an interview. All right there, Andrew Ween. I see you. Right? Let's see if anybody else got it. So Amar says short and measurable, says Amar. Okay. TJ says what you've accomplished. Jesse says your story. Right? Valerie says it's about you. Alicia says it's representing yourself. FH says it's standing out. Haven't seen the right answer yet. Nope. Shelly says it's experience. Right? Viviana says the one that does not list tasks instead of impact. Asil says differentiating yourself in relation to the job you're applying to. Let's see here. We've got Anne says representing yourself. Okay. Yeah. And Kristen says exemplifying what you could do for a new employer. It's not bad, Kristen, but it's not quite right. Highlighting about you, says Ernesto. Andrew says marketing document. Doug says don't make it too long. How you make a difference, says John. Okay, so nobody's got the right answer. What some of you are saying, and guys, I have this free course. It's called How to Make Your LinkedIn Profile Awesome. I want to give it away, but nobody got the right answer because a lot of you are saying it's about you. A good resume is about you, or even how you can help them, which is close and it's not quite right. Because if you want to be influential with another person or an organization or employer, the last thing you're going to want to talk about is you. What you're going to want to talk about instead is them. It's pretty close there, Susan. It's not bad, Susan. That's a close answer, right? It's about them. You're going to want to talk about them. So a good resume isn't about you. It's about them. Which brings us to strategy number 1. It's not about you. It's about them. If you get nothing outside of this workshop today, get this. This alone will change your job search. Good resume is not about you. It's about them. Because so many job seekers think, well, it's about selling myself, right? I have to look good. Nah, that's not what it's about. It's about making that employer feel seen, heard, and understood. Because employers are focused on themselves. If you want to get traction as a job seeker, the opportunity for you is to focus on them, on the employer. more than you, right? Make the application about them. And look, folks, it's no wonder that in a job search, we think it's about us, because very likely the first job search we ever did, the first resume we ever did, was when we were coming out of school. And in school, it is about us. It's our cubby, it's our desk, it's our worksheet, it's our diploma, it's our transcript. It's all about us. And yet when we move to the working world, those of you who are seasoned professionals know it's not about us at all. It's about the constituent, the client, the customer, the shareholder. It's not about us, it's about them. So bring that knowing into your job search and watch things happen. All right, guys, I got another question for you. Here we go. Okay. If I went to a library and I saw a shelf full of storybooks and I looked at the front cover of one of those storybooks, there'd be some words. What do we call those words on the front cover of a storybook? Let's see if anybody gets this one right. I bet they will. This one's easier. What do we call those words on the front cover of a storybook? Who's going to get it right? Let's see here. What do we call those words? Suzanne McGoon. Good job, Suzanne. We're going to send you this course, How to Make Your LinkedIn Profile Awesome. So we're just going to send this to you because you got the right answer. And I see a lot of the rest of you have got it. Don't worry. We're going to be giving more stuff away because a lot of you are like, but I was first. It was just the chat. I get it. Hey, Kahinde, I see you, right? You're so welcome, Suzanne. So stories. Now, isn't it interesting that as we put a title on a storybook, we'll put a title on labeling somebody's career, and we call it titles in the workplace, which tells me, hey, Sandra W., you just booked a coaching call. That's great. So Sandra, you know what? You're going to get this LinkedIn course too, because you booked a call. All you have to do, Sandra, is when you show up for the call, we'll give you the link when you show up for the call, and you get this course too. So nice job, Sandra, for signing up for a call, right? Here's another question for you. What percent of human decision-making is emotional and what percent is logical? What do you think? Is it 50-50, 60-40, 40-60? So what percent of human decision-making is emotional and what percent is logical? Let's see if anybody gets this right, because I want to give away more courses. All right, what's the percentage? What's the ratio? Let's see if anybody gets this one right. So Andrew says 80-20, 80-20 says John. Ann says 90-10. Nope, not. So Candy says 60-40. Shelly says 90-10. Doug says 60-30. Nope. Craig says 80% emotional. Nope. Andrea says 90-10. Matthew says 70-30. Christian says 90% emotional. Nope. All wrong. Joy says 50-50. Nope. Well, it is more emotional. I don't know if that's unfortunately, Caitlin. TJ says it's 75-25. Right? What's that? Nope. Nobody's got the right answer yet. Oh, Marco says 95%. Right? So here's the thing. I haven't seen the right answer yet. No, Barbara says it's 99.1. It's 100% there, Kahinde. We're going to send you that LinkedIn course about how to make your LinkedIn profile awesome. Kahinde got it right. It's 100% emotional. And the reason we know it's 100% emotional is when somebody gets their limbic system damaged, they're fine, except they can't make a single decision. And that's the debilitating part. And the reason stories are so important is stories are how we convey emotion. So if you're not using story in your stuff, in your resume, your cover letter, your follow-up, your interviews, you're really leaving a lot on the table. Our ability to process logical information is like 40 bits. Hey, Laura A just booked a call. Laura A. So Laura A, when you show up for the call, we're going to give you that free LinkedIn course, right? For showing up for the call and and taking a stand for yourself. It's great. People make logical buying decisions for emotional reasons. Well, kind of, Christian. What I would say is the initial decision is 100% emotional and it happens very quickly, right? Like, so I was starting to say our ability to process logical information is like 40 bits a second. Our ability to process emotional information is like 20 million bits a second. It's orders of magnitude greater, right? Orders of magnitude greater. And that emotional decision is made very quickly. Right? When you first got on this call, a lot of you decided whether you like the sound of my voice, you like the music I was playing, you like my shirt, and it happened very quickly. And now you're just gathering data to rationalize the emotional decision that you have very likely already made. That's what we're talking about here. So that's why using story is so important in your stuff. Right? Some people say we make data-driven decisions. No, they don't. Nobody does. Can you imagine what the world would be like if people made data-driven decisions? It'd be a lot different than it is. Very clearly, people make emotional decisions all the time. right? And then they use data to explain it away later. So use this to your advantage in a job search, 100%. Notice I'm about to tell a story, right? One time I was taking applications for a program, and the applicants were all pretty much the same, except for Maggie, who wrote in, and she explained how the summer before, hey, Mathuma, sorry, I'm probably completely mispronouncing your name. Good job, you booked a call. So yeah, show up for that call. We'll give you that free course. Nice job. But Maggie wrote how the summer before she'd been in a terrible car accident and her arm had been severed. I was like, well, wow, that's quite a story. So we accepted Maggie the program, right? Like I'm getting ready for Maggie, one-armed Maggie, to show up the first day thinking about what accommodations she might need. She shows up the first day, 2 arms. Now it was bandaged from where it had been partially severed and reattached, and Maggie was doing some physical therapy. She was going to be okay. Now, was I pissed off that Maggie had 2 arms? Of course not. I was so happy that Maggie had both her arms. And I remember how I feel to this day, and that was almost 30 years ago, maybe. Right? So stories, really, really, really important. All right, I got another question for you, my friends. Who's this guy? What's this guy's name? I'll give you a hint. He lives in Idaho. What's this guy called? He's a friend to the llama, right? Yeah, human connection's key. That's right, Asil, 100%. What's this guy's name? What is this guy's name? Who's going to get it right? Oh, I got a couple answers here. I got Ashley Sharkin Wyatt Willie. Good job, Ashley. Good job. You were the first one I saw. So we're going to send you, Ashley, this course about how to make your LinkedIn profile awesome. Nice job. But Scott and Caitlin and Keith and the rest of you, you're getting it right. This guy here is Napoleon Dynamite. That's right. Napoleon Dynamite. So here's the thing about Napoleon and the reason I'm talking about this story. Some of you are very familiar with this fine film. And if you're not, for goodness sake, stop your job search and go watch this fine piece of cinema. I mean, come on, folks, you're trying to create a society here. But in this particular scene, Napoleon is, hey, Douglas, you booked a call. Nice job, Douglas. We're going to make sure we hook you up with that LinkedIn course. You show up for that call. That's right. So Napoleon's a high school kid, and he's on stage in front of his entire school. They're all kind of looking at him. He's managed to get a cassette tape up to the sound booth, and it's starting to play. And now Napoleon is on the hook to do some kind of performance for which he has not prepared. So what does Napoleon do? He proceeds to do this dance. I mean, he metaphorically opens the kimono. It is wild. He lets it all. And when he's done, all of his classmates are like this, right? And he's sort of panting and sweaty, right? And they burst into applause. And the reason they do is because it's so authentic. Jamie Kern-Lima, the founder of IT Cosmetics, she says, everybody's a good dancer if they commit fully. And she's right. And this brings us to strategy number 3, which is authenticity. Who do humans hire? I'll tell you, humans. Humans hire humans. Now, I can hear some of you, you're like, but Eric, what about the ATS? What about the algorithms? I've heard I need an ATS optimized resume. How's that working out for you? I already know. Guys, yeah, there's algorithms and ATS. I can't even say algorithm. It's a hard word. Algorithm. Yes, that stuff exists, and they're all different. And it's basically software that organizations use like a filing cabinet. For you to build your entire job searching strategy off an unlimited variety of software that there's no way you know how it works doesn't really work very well. So the opportunity for you, while the rest of the world is becoming more automated and less human, is for you to be more human. The reason they're going to hire you is because of who you are, not in spite of it. Sophia booked a call. Nice job, Sophia. We're going to share that course and give you a bunch of other stuff when you show up for that call. So make sure you don't miss it, Sophia. Nice job, right? People are going to hire Sophia because she's the most Sophia person possible. Same thing with Harley L. That's the reason they're going to hire Harley L, is because Harley L is the most Harley L there is. Be human. Give them evidence you're human. You want to get real traction in your job search? Do this. One time I was talking with Nina. We're going through her resume. Nina was a bright person, right? A lot of things going for Nina. We got to the end of her resume. I was like, Nina, where's the evidence on here that you're human? She's like, huh? I mean, how do I know you're a human? Oh, I don't know. I said, Nina, what do you like to do for fun? She sort of hemmed and hawed. And finally I got out of Nina. She had a pen collection. I'm like, well, Nina, that's the weirdest thing I've ever heard. Like, we got to put that on there. She's like, oh no, I couldn't do that. That would be too silly. I was like, all right. She put it on there. I heard from her a month later. She went into the interview. They talked about pens for 30 minutes. Then she got the offer. Caitlin, I see your question. Yeah, we'll mark it. Thanks, Jessa and Chris. We'll mark questions for the end. You guys keep those questions coming, right? We had a client last year, and I steal this now. A lot of my clients do, and you can too. On the bottom of her resume, she puts 2 truths and a lie. She'll get people calling her in for the interview just to find out what the lie is. And that actually happened, and she got 2 interviews and 2 offers because she put that on her resume. You can too. You can too. Angela, thanks for asking. Well, don't worry. We'll be sharing that link to book a call. It's coming your way, Angela. Thanks for asking. So you're going to want to be authentic. And we're going to talk a lot more about this. Authenticity is your superpower. That is right. All right. All right, guys, here we go. We'll talk about Abe Lincoln here. Give me 6 hours to cut down a tree, and I'll spend the first 4 sharpening the axe. Jason H., good job, Jason. Man, can't wait to talk to you, get your job search sorted. And we're going to give you lots of fun stuff, right, when you show up for that call. So make sure you don't miss the call. But this brings us to the idea of systems. Systems. The results you're currently getting in your job search are perfectly attuned to your current system. That's all. There's nothing wrong with you. Your system isn't working very well. Now, some of you are like, but Eric, I don't have a system. That's my problem. Yeah, you do. For some of you, the system is, well, I'm going to focus on ATS. For some of you, the system is, well, I'm going to blame the economy. For some of you, the system is, well, I'm going to hide my age because some 20-something recruiter told me to. Or I'm going to only put the last 15 years of experience because that same 20-something recruiter also told me that they don't care about anything more than 15 years. Well, maybe that's because that 20-something recruiter doesn't have more than 15 years of experience. Lots of systems out there. I'm not here to say if they're good or bad. I'm just here to ask, how's your system been working? And if it hasn't been working the way you want it to, the definition of insanity is to continue doing what you've been doing. I mean, I hope not, right? Because look, for a lot of you guys, this is your current system. And I got to hand it to you, folks. I mean, you've done so much with this system. Jason H., did I give you a shout out? So excited to talk to you. We're going to take good care of you, Jason. You show up for that call, right? This is your current system. And folks, you know, I got to hand it to you. You got the sticky gear shift and the buttons, right? I mean, you have done wonders with this system. Here's the thing you don't know. This is the system that's available. Yeah, thanks, Christian. This is the system that's available to you, right? Now, we don't know exactly what your setting is. Melinda B. booked a call. We're going to find out what your setting is, Melinda. We're going to give you lots of good stuff. You show up for that call, right? This is what's available to you. That's right, Doug. I saw you, buddy. Good job, Doug. We look forward to talking to you, right? There's all kinds of bells and whistles and buttons, like stuff you don't even know about. And you're wondering why you can't steer your job search to success using this system. Well, it's because, I mean, it's this. This is what's available, right? This is what's available. So if you want to get different results than results you've been getting, the opportunity to change your system. All right, guys, how do you put this all to work? Well, so first of all, I just want to show you an example of somebody that showed up to this workshop, booked a call, was worried about spending money on investing in herself, right? Was worried if she could afford it. She could. We put her on a payment plan, and she did a lot of this. I mean, you think this stuff's good? Well, first of all, we're not even done yet. This is just scratching the surface. There's so much more. But we're going to show him Angel, Jessa and Chris. Like Angel showed up for a call like this or for a workshop like this, and I'll just shut up, and here's her result. In the time we've got left, I'm curious, especially if there's somebody we haven't heard from yet. They've had a win, a loss. Angel, I got to ask you, what do we know, if anything? What do we know?
I got the job. Yay!
Whoa!
The offer. I'm moving in a week. Yeah, it's crazy. And I know when we first met, you're like, oh, like, let's get something by your birthday. And my birthday is in 4 days. So I was able to do it. Yay!
And I just want to acknowledge you. Like, you dove in, you did it. You did the work.
Thank you.
Way to go.
It would not have been possible without like signing up for this program. Truly. I think it made the difference for me.
So good, Angel.
Yeah.
Really happy for you.
Yeah.
Super awesome. Congratulations to you. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Like, Angel took action. That's the only difference between Angel and you. She just took action. Some of you booked calls, so it's great. All right, guys. So like I mentioned, I've got a program. I'm going to talk more about it later, but it's amazing. It helps people get hired fast. We offer a guarantee. We'll get you hired in 3 months or less, or we'll stay with you until we do. like if you think this workshop's good, well, just buckle up because there's a lot more of the workshop to come. But the paid course I have is so much better. A lot of what you get one-on-one coaching, including one-on-one coaching with me. We run a group every day of the week. It's awesome. It gets people hired fast. And I'll talk more about that later. But, and if you're interested in that, cinch that tie up. Yeah, that's right. Right. If you're interested in finding out about like that, or just getting some help with your job search, book a call if you haven't already. A bunch of you already have. That's the link. All right, guys, here we go. 9 tactics that you can put to work right away to get hired fast. Here we go. All right, guys, this is the part of the workshop where I like to talk real fast because some people watch me on the replay and they put me on 3 times speed. And when I do this, it's like 19 times speed and it really freaks them out. And for those of you who are here, thank you, Jessa. Thank you, Jessa. That's amazing. For those of you who are here live, I'll go back to regular speed. Okay, guys, here's the situation. Let's say there's a lake, and in the middle of the lake, somebody's drowning. Okay, so somebody's in the middle of the lake drowning, and they're surrounded by other people in little boats. Okay, this is a metaphor. So somebody's in the middle of the lake drowning. They're surrounded by other people in little boats. If that was a job search, who's the person drowning? Put it in the chat. Let's see if anybody gets this right. Who's the person drowning in this metaphorical, watery job search that we've been talking about? Okay, so somebody's in the middle lake drowning. They're surrounded by other people in little boats. Who's the person drowning, metaphorically, if this was a job search? Yeah, so Scott says me. Ashley says me. Yeah, it sure can feel that way. All right, let's see if anybody else, any other takers on this. Who's the person drowning in this? So me, right? A lot of you are saying it feels like you. Hey, Kahinde, you booked a call. Nice job, Kahinde. We're going to give you all kinds of goodies when you show up, right? John Hansen. John Hansen. That's right, John. That's right, John. You're right. And Jesse and Suzanne, you got it right. But John, we're going to send you that LinkedIn course, right? It's the employer. And the reason we know it's the employer is because they've told us. They've said, help, we're drowning. Please, somebody come and help us. Come work for us. We're drowning. You are the one in the boat. And yet, as we saw here on the chat, some of us on a job search are acting, hey, Kristen C, you booked a call. Like, look forward to seeing you on that call. We got all kinds of cool stuff we're going to give away to you. Show up for that call, right? People, it can feel like on a job search, like we're the one drowning. We're the one drowning. We're not. You're safe. If you're on this workshop right now, you are not drowning. How could you be? Unless you have an underwater computer, right? You're fine. You're safe. And yet it can feel like we got bills. It can feel like we're literally suffocating. And we act accordingly. Like we'll roll up to that employer and say, hey, pick me. Let me rescue you. I'm the best one to rescue you. And the employer's in the water like, well, I want to get out of this water, and I need help, but not from that guy, right? Because needy is creepy. So the opportunity instead of trying to sell yourself or make it about you or talk about how cool your boat is and the aerodynamic angle of your life jackets, which they're not going to care about, right? All they're going to care about is feeling seen, heard, and understood. You want to, hey, Haley, Ann, you booked a call. Nice job, Haley. Like, look forward to seeing you on that call. We're going to give you lots of good stuff, fix you up, right? But like, you want to act like you're coming from a place of service because you are coming from a place of service. This brings us to tactic number 1, which is mindset. A lot of job seekers, well, first of all, they're just focused on me. That's just a hot dumpster fire. The opportunity instead is to focus on them from a place of service and realize that you need a job, but it doesn't have to be that job. And there's only one Haley. There's only one John Hansen. There's only one Kristen C. There's only one Ernesto. And you can take comfort in that knowing. Approach from a place of service. Folks, nobody wants to be sold. Hey, Asil, I hope I'm saying your name right. Look forward to seeing you on that call. Get you fixed up. We're going to give you lots of good stuff, Asil. Nice work, right? Nobody wants to be sold. Selling people's creepy. Buying people's even worse. Michael P. Nobody's buying Michael P today. Michael P is going to show up for that call. We're going to get him squared away. Nice job, Michael P. Right? Buying and selling of people. No bueno. Don't do that. Right? Instead, come from a place of service. Some of you know the show Deadliest Catch, right? Alaskan fishermen on the Bering Sea dropping these big steel crab pots on the bottom of the ocean floor with a little bait, trying to catch some crab. And sure enough, Charlie the crab comes along And Charlie sounds like this. And you would think that was Charlie's voice because he's a crab, and you'd be wrong. That's just how Charlie's always been since he was a baby crab. So Charlie walks up, he's like, free lunch. So Charlie goes in and he starts eating. And meanwhile, thanks, Christian. Thanks, Christian. I appreciate that. Right? Charlie's in there. He's nibbling away, saying, free lunch. Right? And hey, Tua, nice job. You booked a call. We're going to take good care of you. You show up for that call. Like Charlie's eating lunch. And meanwhile, Cheryl and Sally and all the other crabs start joining. And eventually there's no more bait. And so Charlie, he's got things to do. He's got things on his agenda in his day planner, right? His Microsoft Outlook agenda. So he's like, I'm out of here, boys. Now here's the interesting part. When Charlie tries to leave, the other crabs will pull him back in. They'll even pull off one of Charlie's crab arms. They'll even do a crab murder on poor Charlie just to keep Charlie in the cage, because that's how crabs roll. Crabs like to be with other crabs. It makes crabs feel safe. And the sad part is they all get pulled up and become dinner. And this brings us to tactic number 2, which is environment. You are just like those crabs. And your environment really, really matters. And when I say your environment, I mean your physical environment, your social, emotional, psychological, spiritual, learning, intellectual, fun. It all matters. A lot of times when, hey, lobster murder next. That's right, lobster murder. Hey, Alicia, see, you booked a call, Alicia. You show up, man. We don't have any free lobster for you, Alicia, when you show up, but we're going to take good care of you. You show up for that call. Nice job, right? So like a lot of people, right? They don't realize the impact that a lot of people, when they join our program, the thing that moves the needle very quickly for them is just optimizing their environment. All right. And for some of us, we have family that loves us, right? And our social environment, our family environment is what it is. We have family that are like, oh, please just settle, take $50,000 less. We can't stand to see you get another rejection because it hurts you so much and we love you. And that comes from a place of love, and it's not particularly helpful. So the opportunity here is to get really intentional about your environment across the board. Some of you are familiar with the idea of reference groups, right? You're the average weight, income, education, the 5 people you hang out with most. Exactly. These don't even have to be living people or people you're with. They can be people on TV, authors from 100 years ago. It doesn't matter. This is how we roll, just like those crabs, right? See you later, Charlie. All right, here we go. Tactic number 3, it's hard to hit a blurry target. This brings us to the idea of vision. Some of you are familiar with the proverb, where there is no vision, the people perish. I would argue where there is no vision, the job seekers don't get hired, right? We want to have the map before we go in the forest. You know, sometimes I'll talk to brand new clients or prospective clients and I'll be like, hey, Gomer, nice to meet you. What do you want to do? Well, I want to help people. I'm like, that's beautiful, Gomer, but that's really vague. How much money do you want to make? Well, anywhere between $50,000 and $150,000. And I'm like, Gomer, we got to get this sorted. Because Bruce Lee has this great quote. He says, be careful what you tell yourself. Your body's listening. This has to do with the reticular activating system, right? This is the thing where you go and buy a new car and you drive off the lot. You're like, nobody's got this car. And then you see the car 5 times. We will literally be blind, not just like I didn't see it, but literally blind to things that we don't tell our brain to look for. It's part of our psychology, right? So if you don't have a clear vision, Clarice, nice job, Clarice. You booked a call. Come talk to us, and so we can give you lots of goodies and take good care of you, Clarice. Right? So if you literally don't tell your brain what to look for, it will be blind to it. There's a reason when race car drivers drive 500 miles in a circle, they don't look at the outer wall, because that's where the car will tend to go. And if you don't have clear vision, don't be like Gomer, right? If you don't have clear vision, hey, Michael, you booked a call. Nice job, Michael. We're going to take good care of you, buddy. Good goodies for him. Man, you don't even know what we're going to give away. I'm inspired by this crowd. We're going to give away amazing stuff on these calls. So show up, right? So like, if you don't have clear vision, you're going to be just like one of those race car drivers driving 500 miles in a circle. You're not going to be able to help anybody. Really, really, really important. All right, guys, I got another question for you. Here we go. If I went to a hardware store and I bought this thing, what would I be buying? Put it in the chat, please. Right? If I went to a store and I bought this, what on earth would I be buying? Let's see if anybody gets it right. What would I be buying if I went to the store and bought one of these things? Thingamajiggers. What would I be buying? Let's see if anybody gets this one right. Sometimes people do. All right. So Ashley says a drill. Keith says a drill. Andrew says drill. Paige says drill. Nope. Suzanne says drill without a battery. Useless drill, says Kristen. Nope. Nope. This isn't what I'd actually be buying. What am I actually buying? So Ann says it's a power drill. Kristen is like, what do you mean it's a drill? Oh, FH. FH got it right. It's a hole. Because I don't need this laying around my garage. What I actually need is a hole. And actually, so FH, we're going to take good care of you. Like, guys, let's make sure we figure out how to, Jessa and Chris, if you would, please figure out how to send to FH that LinkedIn course. We're going to take good care of FH, right? But like, what I actually need is a hole. And actually, now that I think about it, I don't actually need a hole. What I actually want is a place to put the hook. And actually, I don't even need a place to put the hook. I gash my arm open, having a bunch of hooks coming out of my wall. What I actually want is a place to hang the photo. And actually, I don't even want a place to hang the photo. What I actually want is the feeling that I get when I look at the picture that's hanging on the hook, that's in the hole that's made by the drill. And Andre, you booked a call. We look forward to seeing you, Andre. Hopefully we're saying your name right. Right? Get you all sorted, Andre. Good job. Make sure you show up for that call. Don't miss it. Don't miss out. All right. That's what, and this is what this brings us to, my friends. So FH, we're going to send you that course, right? Look forward to seeing you, right? It's the idea of safety. A lot of people in a job search are hyper focused on me. Others are focused on the them. They're focused on the them. But sometimes I'll see people that attended this workshop like 6 months ago, and they'll write me, they'll be like, Eric, I didn't sign up because I thought I could do it on my own. I'm like, well, show me what you've been doing. And if they are talking about them, they're talking about the drill instead of the thing that's keeping that employer up at night when they look at the ceiling trying to go to sleep. If you can get to that, David S., you booked a call, man. We look forward to taking good care of you, David. Look forward to talking to you, David. Nice job, right? If you can get to the thing that keeps them up at night, do you see how this is so much more sophisticated than hiding your age or messing around with ATS or worrying about the economy or hiding your years of experience? This is how you get hired fast, my friends. Make it about them. That's right, Christian. You're going to give them safety because there's only one reason they're going to hire you. And it's not your skills. It's not your experience. It's not even if they like you. I mean, how many times have you felt like the employer really liked you and you got a big fat no, or you were definitely the best one? And we see this all the time. The only reason they're going to hire you is they trust you. That's it. Some of you are booking calls here because you've decided you trust me. Thank you. I appreciate it. And some of you aren't because you either don't trust me or you don't trust yourself. It's fine. It's nothing personal, and it's nothing personal with employers. It just, there hasn't been enough trust built. So that's the way, at least when clients work with me, that's what we work on, right? We work on building trust with employers. And Jane A., thanks for trusting me, right? I trust you so much. We look forward to talking to you, Jane A. Good job. All right. So, all right, guys, on to the next tactic here. Oh, you're such a good crowd. All right. Tactic number 5. I think we're on number 5, I believe. Yeah. Tactic number 5, paper, resumes. So let's talk about resumes. Resume, when I say resumes, cover letter, follow-up, anything you send. What really matters is what you send, when you send, how you send it, to whom you send it. It all matters. And very often the way you send it and how you send it and how it's formatted matters more than the substance itself. And a lot of people just completely miss this. And the last thing you're going to want to do is use best practices in your resume. Don't do that, right? Like I'm proficient in I am proficient in Microsoft Office. Would you like some Grey Poupon? Like, don't do any of that. They've seen it 1,000 times, and it's the most inauthentic thing. We want your resume to be the most you resume possible, right? We want your resume to give them evidence that you're a human. If you're one of these people that's got I know what I'll do. Wait a second. I know I'm applying to be an ancient Babylonian cabinet maker. I'll put that title on my resume, and they'll see my resume, and they'll match the title to their job description, and that'll make my resume stand out. What is that all about? You put the title. I mean, that doesn't make any. Or I know I'll put an executive summary. What the hell that means? I have no idea. I'll put an executive summary on my resume for the executive. Am I the executive or they executive? I don't know, but that's what you do. It's an executive summary. I'll put that on there, and it'll be all about me, and it'll have no context, and they'll skip it because that's the thing they know I want them to see, or that's all they'll read, and they'll skip the rest of it. Lazy recruiters. There's so much you're probably doing with your resume that could be done better. Shelly T is going to learn how to do all this stuff because we're going to take good care of Shelly T. Yeah, Jesse, that's right. Yeah, for a call. Way to go. Nice sales call. All right. Well, Jesse, we wish you well, Jesse. Sounds like Jesse is having a day. But Kenny D, you booked a call. Nice job, Kenny D. We look forward to talking to you. All right. So the thing about this is, guys, you're going to want to make sure that you communicate with employers in a way they cannot ignore. 100%, right? This is going to make all the difference. For instance, hyperlinks. Do you have hyperlinks on your resume? I do. You can too. All right, guys, got another one for you. If a job application is submitted and there is no follow-up, does it even make a sound? I would humbly suggest that it doesn't. And Kenny D, we're going to take good care of you, man. Shout out to you, Kenny D. Good job. Right? And that brings us to the idea of follow-up. Some of you are applying, you send off an application, you're like, well, I hope I hear back. And for some reason you adopt that accent. It's not a bad accent. It's just kind of weird that I hope I hear back, and you wait. And maybe you might have even put in one of those executive summaries, how you're somebody that takes initiative. People are going to believe what you show them more than what you tell them. If you were in the boat and you splashed somebody and they were floating face down and you said, hey, buddy, are you okay? And they were floating, you wouldn't be like, don't want to bother them. Don't want to, I'll just wait. I'll wait to hear back. If they want me, they'll look up as they're sitting there motionless. No, you'd jump in the water. You'd flip them over. You'd lock lips, do mouth to mouth. And if they were like, lady, I was just snorkeling, you'd be like, my bad. And you'd be willing to offend in the name of service. And that's the opportunity here. Be willing to offend in the name of service. So when you apply, look, they said they're drowning, right? You've said there's a boat here. Sure looks like you're drowning, and they're ignoring you. We're not going to just stand by and be like, well, I didn't hear back on that one. No, we're going to follow up. Even and especially if they tell us not to. 100%. We're going to follow up. And by the way, when we follow up, two things. One, we're not going to follow up with recruiters because they're professionally trained assassins at keeping you away from the hiring manager. Because if you talk to the hiring manager, the recruiter really has no role. So we're not going to do that. And the last thing we do when we follow up is say, hey, just wanted to check in, because that's all about me. What we're going to do instead is make it about them from a place of service. Now, some of you are saying, but Eric, the problem is I don't have the contact information to follow up. I don't know who to follow up with. Here you go, my friends. I have a course. It's called How to Contact Anybody. For those of you who are still here or who got this far on the replay, I'm going to give it away to you for free. Here's how you get the free course. One, you're going to go to my LinkedIn profile. It's right there, right? You're then going to friend me, follow me, whichever shows up. And then you're going to message me a single word. And that word is chicken. Thanks, Jessa. The word, one more time, is chicken. So you message me the word LinkedIn, or the word LinkedIn, the word chicken on LinkedIn. I almost said the word LinkedIn on chicken. The word LinkedIn, or the word chicken on LinkedIn, and I will send you a link to get this free course, How to Contact Anybody. And then that will never, ever, ever be a problem about how do I contact anybody, because there's ways that you can use starting today. So follow up, right? Follow up assertively. All right, guys, what is this? On to tactic number 7. You guys are being a great crowd here. You ever go to the Academy Awards or seen the Academy Awards and some actor wins a big prize and she gets up there and they start, she's like, thanks, everybody. I got nobody to thank. Hey, Donna H., you booked a call. We look forward to talking to you, Donna. Make sure you show up, Donna, so we can take good care of you. Got lots of goodies to give away. A lot of giveaways for you, Donna. Free stuff, right? So she gets up there and she's like, I got nobody to thank. And people are like sort of awkward looking around. No, it doesn't happen. She gets up there. She's like, I got to thank this person. Then they're trying to get her off stage. This person, right? This brings us to the idea of networking. A lot of times when people join my program, this is the thing that moves the needle as much as anything. Because if I asked you right now, how many people do you know? You'd be like, oh, good number of people. And I'd be like, how many? Well, maybe 100. I'd be like, bullshit, right? If you're over 30, you know at least 1,000, probably many, many. Okay, 1,000 people. Well, how many of those know you're on the job search? Oh, good number. Well, how many? 300. How do they know? Well, I posted it on LinkedIn 3 months ago. So they would have had to go onto your profile on that day and remember that, and now you're starting to get worried. The opportunity, my friends, in a job search is ask people for help. Asking for help doesn't make you look weak. It makes you look strong. It's a gift, because if you ask somebody for help, they know for sure that you think their help is worth asking for. Have you ever helped anybody? I bet you have. How did it feel? Are you worried about putting open to work on your LinkedIn banner? Just get that sorted, right? It doesn't make you look weak. It looks you make you strong. There's people who are dying to help you. And the thing about this is, my friends, you're not going to want to have like a one-off, right? Some of you are like, but Eric, I've been reaching out to my network. It's probably one-offs, right? Where you got to get the right bait on the right line, in the right place at the right depth. I mean, good luck with that. What we want to do instead is filter the ocean. And we don't have to worry about where the jobs are because we're everywhere. We want to filter the ocean of jobs with our network, and we want to have a system for doing it. That's how we get hired fast. Oh, love this crowd. All right, guys. Tactic number 8. We're in the home stretch of interviews. All right, guys. Here are the most important piece of interview advice I can offer. Here it is. I'm about to deliver it. Please prepare yourselves. Thanks, Jess. Don't answer their questions. If you've been going into job interviews and focusing on answering their questions and you're wondering why you can't get traction in your job search, I'll tell you, they're not really wanting you to answer their questions because the only question they're really asking is this one. And that question is, can I trust you? That's it. Right? Some of you may know the movie, The Invention of Lying, right? If we lived in that world where everybody told the truth, we could just sit down for an interview and be like, hey, can I trust you? No, you can't trust me at all. All right, great. Thanks for coming in. It'd be really easy. And we don't live in that world, right? If we had a universal translator, it'd be like, tell me about a time you did something proud in your career. Can I trust you? That's all they're asking. So instead of worrying about answering their questions, you're going to want to give answers and tell stories that build trust. Now, if it's a technical interview and they ask you what 1 + 1 is, you can say 2. And even those are still really about trust. Even though they say we make data-driven decisions, they don't, right? So if you've been getting along in your interview process and you're one of these people that's gone 300 rounds and keep getting big fat no's, there's only one reason. They didn't trust you or they trusted somebody more. Now, that's not necessarily your fault, but the opportunity is to focus on building trust, not looking good. That's the opportunity when it comes to interviews. All right, guys, final tactic. Let's talk about offers. 2 things when it comes to offers that I want you to consider. 1, when you're job searching, you don't have to worry if you're qualified for a job before you apply. They'll have an opinion. Okay. And very likely whatever you think is completely detached from whatever they think. So you might as well not worry about it. And 2, you don't really have to worry if you want a job unless and until it's offered, because unless and until you have something in writing, you don't even really know what you're saying yes or no to. And hey, Rich K, we look forward to talking to you, buddy. Nice job, Rich. We look forward to taking good care of you, man. Show up to that call. Look forward to seeing you. Right? You don't have to worry about it. So the opportunity instead is to apply a little bit more liberally. Instead of looking at job listings and thinking, am I qualified or would I want that job? Throw all that out the window and instead focus on possibility instead. What's possible here for them? You do that, my friends, your job search is going to change by orders of magnitude. All right, guys, you've been a great crowd. So this is the gist of what we've been saying here today. 4 strategies, 9 tactics. This is how you get hired fast. This is how you do it. Now, some of you, hey, Scott M., you booked a call, man. Good job, Scott. We look forward to talking to you. Scott, I hope the calendar is not filling up. What is this? Jan says, no more hat in hand, flip dynamics in psychology. I'm not sure what that means. I don't know, John. Yeah, but no more hat in hand. That's right. No more begging. I understand now. Thanks, John. I got you. That's right. No more begging. So some of you are like, well, this is great, right? This is a single tier of Diet Coke. This has changed my life, and I'm going to go off and do this on my own. And yeah, you can. And the only question is how long is that going to take, right? And some of you are like, well, all this stuff is stuff I can Google. No, it's not, my friends. This stuff is different than stuff you've probably heard before, right? This is stuff that I've created on my own. A lot of people, like fellow career coaches, don't like my stuff very much because it contradicts the stuff they offer that doesn't work very well. Probably a lot of the stuff you've been doing. This stuff works. So this isn't really stuff you're going to be able to Google. And some of you are underestimating the cost of being on a job search, right? There's a real opportunity cost because if for every, look, if this is the annual salary you want to make, here's how much it's costing you per month to be on a job search. Here's how much it's costing you per week. And if you want to make more than 180, it's costing you even more than this, right? This is the cost, right? So those of you who are like, well, I'm just going to try it on my own some more, or I just started my job search and, I'll try it on my own for a while. Just realize how expensive that is when the opportunity is just cut the line and get this stuff handled. Like we know what works. And again, like I say, I've got a program. It's amazing. Comes with one-on-one coaching, including one-on-one coaching with me. Comes with like a whole course. Like we're just really scratching the surface here. I haven't really given you everything. Yeah, Alicia, I hear you. We look forward to talking to you, Alicia. I saw you booked a call, right? Like the course is amazing, especially compared to this. There we have group events every day. We have an online community. And what we find is when we stack all this stuff together, people usually get hired in 3 months or less, right? We help people with whether it's trying to get clarity or your mindset or you're figuring out your LinkedIn or your cover letters or your resumes or your follow-ups or your networking or your interviews, or a lot of people pay for this program just in the offers, right? And you know, like if we can get you hired a couple weeks faster, you more than pay for this program, right? Here's some of the people who've gone through this program. You know, Jessie was a nonprofit exec. We got her like 2 or 3 offers and she finally got the one she liked. Robert was coming from overseas, was just starting his job search. And he was like, I don't know if I can do this on my own or not. And I'm going to make sure I'm going to stack the deck in my favor. And he did it and got hired in like 2.5 months, right? Wayne got a bunch of offers. Amy was somebody that kept going through interviews and would get to the end and get a big fat no. John was a CEO that we placed. Yeah, book a call, Edward. We look forward to seeing you, man. So like, Philip was an early professional. We got him 2 job offers at once. You already met Angel. Guys, I said earlier that people don't make data-driven decisions, and I think that's right. And for those of you that insist, here's some data. The vast majority of people that join this program, they get hired in 4 months or less. Yeah, I cannot Google this stuff. That's right, Christian. Right? 4 months or less. And there's some people that take a little longer for a variety of reasons. Right? Sometimes it's the luck of the draw. Sometimes it's, you know, they take a break. Sometimes, you know, they decide they want to do something else. But for most people, it's 4 months or less, 3 months or less. Right? The thing you're not going to want to do is keep doing the same thing over and over and getting the same results you've been getting. Don't do that. Please. Right? Whether you decide, you know, you want to check out whether we can help you or not, please do something different. And if you're going to do it on your own, it's fine. Or you could just get some help and we could get this handled and you could get this handled. Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that save you a lot of money? So again, for those of you who are like, but how much is it, Eric? We got multiple payment plans available. If we got all kinds of financing. So for a lot of people, I think it's actually supposed to be $350, right? Yeah, $350. Like people, a lot of people, they say, well, Eric, can I pay you after I get the job? Nah, because we want you to have skin in the game, and the economics of that don't work for me and my team. So it can wind up being about $350 a month, right? That you can finance, and a lot of people get the job and then they pay off the rest when they're done. And the thing about it is, we offer a guarantee, so that if we, make an offer to work with you, like we stay with you until you get the job. And for, like I say, for most people, that's in 3 months or less. And we don't, as long as you're in it, we're in it with you. We're not going to leave you by the side of the road. We place 100% of people that stay with our program because it works. Here's the receipts. Here's more evidence that it works. I don't know. At some point I should count how many people I've helped. It's at least a couple of thousand that have gone through our program, many more that have attended this workshop. So if this is something you're interested in and you haven't, already booked a call, like book one, right? And again, the only requirements are you're going to show up, and you're going to want to show up because we're going to give you some cool stuff. No, there's a payment plan, Caitlin. So it's $350 a month. And then that is the payment plan. And then once you get hired, you pay off the balance. But you're going to show up for the call, right? You're not going to book a call and then like cancel. Frankly, if you're somebody who's going to do that, we probably can't get you hired anyway, right? So don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. You're open to at least investing in yourself, even if it feels uncomfortable, even if it feels scary. You're ready to get started. And if nothing else, you're just wanting some help to take a look at what's been working in your job hunt. So if that's you, book a call if you haven't already. A lot of you already have. Look forward to meeting you. Look forward to giving you some great stuff. And that's the link. And we've got some time for questions. I saw a couple, and let's show you the full girth of my gigantic head. Isn't it beautiful? All right, guys, let's answer some questions here. I saw a couple. Let's see what we've got. Okay, so Caitlin says, should our resume be ATS friendly, or should, I wouldn't go out of my way to make it, but the thing about it is, I'm not sure how you could make it unfriendly, because all ATS systems are different. There's not like one system. So the idea that you're going to be able to adjust anything in your resume to make it comply with any particular ATS, I would say that's kind of a fool's errand. So I just wouldn't worry about it, Caitlin. Like, the opportunity instead is give them evidence that you're human. do your resume in a way that makes the receiver feel seen, heard, and understood. You do that, you're not going to have to worry about ATS. And we're going to circumvent the recruiters anyway. So that's another reason. Hope that makes sense. Caitlin, I hope you booked a call. Okay. Next question. Christian says, comment on keywords. So yeah, keywords are kind of one of those things. Like, I don't know about you, but AI is pretty damn good now. There maybe used to be a day where I know what I'll do. I'll put secret key. Hey, Trey, you booked a call. Nice job, Trey. Look forward to taking good care of you. Right. There may have been a day where I know what I'll do. I'll put the keywords at the bottom of my resume and I'll change the font to white. That way they won't see them, but the computer will. I mean, there might have been a day where that stuff worked. And I don't know, guys, I think AI has gotten too advanced for that. So I'm not sure keywords really matter as much as like putting ideas in the stuff you send that makes them feel seen, heard, and understood. That's what's going to move the needle. That's what's going to move the needle. All right, guys. And I'm going to go a little bit long if folks want to stick around. And if you have to go at the top of the hour, thanks for being here, guys. Appreciate you. What if there's no way to follow up, which is often the case? Well, Caitlin, I'm so glad you asked. You're going to go to my LinkedIn profile. You're going to message me, put the word chicken, and we'll send you the course, How to Contact Anybody. And then that won't be a problem for you anymore, Caitlin. Yeah, that's the LinkedIn profile. Thanks, Jessa. Appreciate that. So that's how you can get that handled. All right. Other questions. Asil, do you help in directing us, sharing appropriate jobs suited to our background, or are we on our own? So we have a lot of resources for you to, already did it, Caitlin. Good job. Right. Work on. Right. So like, we have a lot of resources for helping people, find leads, but some programs are like, I love this, right? It drives me crazy, right? We're going to let you use our network, our secret network. You know why that doesn't work? Because that's not your network. The reason networks work is because they're your network, and you don't need to borrow somebody's network. You can use your own. Borrowed networks do not work because they're not yours, right? The reason it's a network is because it's people that know you and you know. The idea that you're somehow going to borrow somebody else's network, it doesn't work. So yeah, so we don't do that for that reason. All right. What else do we have here? All right, Caitlin, thanks for showing up, Caitlin. What percent of our clients get interviews within 60 days and how many you track that? So I showed the chart, but it's like 75% of people get not just interviews, they get offers within 3 months or less, within 90 days. And the way we track it is we keep track of our clients, right? Because interviews are great, but what you really want are offers. So we've never tracked how many people get interviews. We just track offers. Hey, Sabrina, you booked a call. Nice job, Sabrina. We look forward to taking good care of you, right? Yeah, we don't track interviews. We track offers because having 1,000 interviews is okay, but what we really want is the offers. So that's what we track. Hope that makes sense. All right here. What other questions, if any? I know there weren't so many questions, Jessa and Chris. You guys have done a great job. Thanks for being here. So guys, look, if you're been on the job search, just want to acknowledge you for the road you've been on, understand how tough it can be. And if you're feeling discouraged, if you're feeling like there's no hope here, please know there is. You don't have to keep doing this on your own. There are bright things on the horizon for you. And if you're finding that the system that you're currently using is not getting you the results that you want, the opportunity for you is to use a different system. And if you're like, I don't know how I could change my system, that's exactly why you're definitely going to want to come talk to us, because we know a lot of systems that work for a lot of different kinds of people. We don't know the exact system that's going to work for you, but we have a pretty good idea of what tends to work for most people. And that's how we're able to get results for most people really quick. So guys, look, just appreciate you being here. Appreciate you sticking around. You guys have been a great crowd. I'm going to show you just a couple of examples of some of our clients. So you can hear their stories rather than hear me yak about it. And just know that this is possible for you. And I'm 100% cheering for you. Take care, my friends.
My name is Charlotte Jones. I got a new position and I got hired pretty fast in the last month of being with Win at Work. So I have been searching for a job for a little over 7 months, and I've been at Win at Work for just a month, for about 40 days. So I do really like the one-on-one time that I get with a coach or a career coach, counselor. And I also like that interaction and listening to the successes and the stories of how someone might be thinking about their job search, or how they might want to present themselves during interview, what may work and what hasn't worked. And I like to hear those stories from others because I found that I was having some of the same experiences. And then really when it came down to getting an offer and being able to connect with Eric directly and really get that one-on-one coaching, that was truly helpful. I felt like that was a white glove service that was worth getting involved with and connecting with Win at Work.
Well, first, will you tell us your name?
Jeff Borker. I just want to thank all of you guys. I didn't know how fast this was going to work. And you guys have all been great. I mean, all the feedback that I've gotten from you and from Eric and from Diana and the group as a whole is very supportive, very, very uplifting. Everyone's willing to help out. And it's just been a great experience. It's something that I won't forget. It's something that I'm going to take a lot of these concepts into my work activity. The job that I'm going into really is a dream job for me. I was just like, this is something I have to do because 2.5 years of doing the same thing, again, nothing was working. I was getting rejections, I was getting ghosted, but I would say put any predispositions away, go into it with an open mind, do the webinar, do the introductory call, and really just do it because it works.
Hi, I am Marcia Gomes. I am, I guess you could say, a recent graduate of Get Hired Fast because I did get hired and pretty fast. I am currently in my second week at my new position after having gone through the Get Hired Fast Win at Work programming and methodology. And I don't think it's exaggeration and hyperbole to say that this program absolutely was the kicker in getting me to where I am right now. So very thankful, very learned a lot and a lot of shifting in perspective. And I think that was super instrumental in kind of changing the way I approached my job search and my job hunt and eventually getting to where I am and landing this really cool position that I'm in now. Yeah.
It's Bethany Meadows. I joined Win at Work in June 30th. I'm currently working a position as a CRM project manager at a college in Miami, Florida. All the different components of the program, the network bomb, the power hours, the co-working sessions, the job coaching, put together a really good strategy and it helped me give me an approach to be able to do job search that was more holistic in terms of being able to not only think about applying for a job or whether or not I was qualified for it, but also to thinking about my attitude about the job search itself. And so that's something that really was important for me coming out of being unemployed for like over a year and being laid off from a job that I've been at for about 9 years. So I had a long stretch of unemployment, did other job search programs before, some paid, some unpaid. And I found that with Win at Work, there was just a large part of it was the mentality and just changing my thinking around how I approach a job search.
I started job searching a month before I started the program. It took me between 6 months and a year since COVID to find contract jobs. So when I got the notification, the Win at Work, Get Hired Fast, it was called Get Hired Fast email, I said, I just knew immediately this was the way to go to quicken the time. I immediately jumped on this because in the past, it had just taken so long to find work and find the right kind of work. I mean, I've had in my career a couple of really horrible contracts, and I knew my biggest problem in getting hired was first my resume. I felt comfortable about interviewing with companies. The interviews I was not worried about. It really was the resume. Doing that master resume from beginning to end with everything on it was incredibly freeing. I joined on 5/29 on an 8/11. I had not only a job offer, but the job offer that I wanted. And that was incredible. When I got immersed in this whole program, there are so many great things here. Just learning all these new tools and tips. And it was the power hours. They were boosters. And I love the fact that they had a theme every week as you were, going through this process. And it was just so comforting to have that. And then the individual coaching sessions, those were great.